Hello viewers, welcome to the Editorial Analysis by Drishti IAS. In this section, we regularly take editorials from various newspapers and news portals for a better understanding of various issues happening in India and around the globe. Dear viewers, in this section, we first try to link the editorial with our UPSC syllabus. Then we go analytical in order to understand some key points and at last some important concepts. Dear viewers, we truly hope that you like this initiative taken by Drishti IAS and your feedbacks are important for us. So kindly feel free to give your important feedbacks in the comment section. So without any further delay, let's commence our session.
Dear viewer, this video is available in Hindi as well. If you wish to watch it, please visit our Hindi YouTube channel, Drishti IAS. For your convenience, the link for this video in Hindi has been provided in the description below.
Today's editorial is taken from The Hindu, published on 24th of February 2021. The title of today's editorial is After the Coup. If we try to summarize today's editorial, we can say that the Myanmar military must move fast to end the political crisis that is of its own making. If we try to link today's editorial with our UPSC syllabus, we can link it with GS Paper 2, which has sections that include Constitution, Polity, Governance, and International Relations. Some key points from today's editorial. Now viewers, before we move ahead, this is the geographical location of Myanmar, which we can see. Myanmar shares its international territory with India, and that's the reason we are quite much concerned with whatever political changes are happening there. Now viewers, 3 weeks after they took control of Myanmar by toppling its democratically elected government, the country's generals are struggling to retain their grip on power in the face of growing pro-democracy mass protests. Now, viewers, like we all know that recently the Myanmar military grabbed power in a military coup. It happened for the third time in the history of the country since its independence from British rule in 1948. After the coup happened, 1 year state of emergency has been imposed and democratically elected leader Aung San Suu Kyi has been detained. Now, if we speak about the definition of the term, what exactly do you mean by the word coup? So coup is generally described as a sudden, violent and illegal seizure of power from a government. Now, if we speak about Myanmar, so Myanmar, also known as Burma, is in Southeast Asia and it has various neighbors like India, Thailand, Laos, Bangladesh, China, and we have an idea about the primary religion that has been followed there is Buddhism. There are many ethnic groups in the country which include the Rohingya Muslims. So, if we speak about the military coup, so there are several important aspects that we should know. So, things got started in November 2020 parliamentary election, where Aung San Suu Kyi, National League for Democracy, NLD, secured the majority of the seats in the election. In the Myanmar's parliament, the military holds 25% of the total seats according to the 2008 military drafted constitution. And several key ministerial positions are also reserved for military appointees. When the newly elected Myanmar lawmakers were to hold the first session of parliament in 2021, the military imposed a state of emergency for 1 year, citing massive voting frauds in the parliamentary election. Now, the reason why that has been given by the Myanmar military is that, according to them, there were various frauds that actually took place in the parliamentary election. This is the most important reason which has been cited by the military when they actually did the military coup. After the military coup, there was a reaction coming from everywhere, such as China said all parties in Myanmar will properly handle their differences under the constitution and legal framework to maintain political and social stability. According to the United States of America, the President Joe Biden threatened to reimpose a sanction on Myanmar following a coup by the country's military leaders and called for a concerted international response to press them to relinquish power. If we speak about India's reaction, India supported continuously for democratic transition in Myanmar. Not today, but from a very long time. India has expressed deep concerns over a recent development in Myanmar. Cutting off from the Myanmar military is not a viable option, as India has significant economic and strategic interest in Myanmar and its neighborland. Now, if we speak about India's strategic interest in Myanmar and its relations with Myanmar military, they are quite good. Also, the India's approach towards Myanmar has actually been cited as one of the most important initiatives that are required to be taken by India at this point of time. Now, the military, which shared power with Aung San Suu Kyi's National League for Democracy (NLD) for 5 years, orchestrated the coup on February 1st, hour before country's newly elected parliament, in which the NLD had a huge majority, was seen to convene. This is what I have told you. The session was about to begin. The military, which controlled Myanmar through direct rule for almost 50 years since independence from Britain in 1948, has now deployed the familiar repressive tactics to quell opposition to the latest coup. Now, like I said, that this is for the third time when a military coup has taken place and the entire power is in the hand of the military. So what exactly is the military doing right now? They are actually trying to repress every opposition against the coup. It has detained Ms. Suu Kyi, President Win Mint, and several leaders of NLD, suspended the internet, has blocked social networks, and warned the public of repercussions if they joined protests. Now, they have already detained Ms. Suu Kyi, the President of Myanmar, Win Mint, and various other important position holders of the NLD party. Also, internet is suspended in Myanmar right now. Various social networking sites are also blocked, and there is a direct warning that has come from military that if people join the protest, then there are repercussions which they have to suffer. But protests have grown by the day. On Saturday, 2 unarmed protesters were killed by security forces in Mandalay. Even police violence and the deployment of security personnel, including snipers across the main cities, did not stop millions from joining a general strike on Monday. Now, the protests have actually started, and in one such protest on Saturday, 2 unarmed people were killed. Even after so many warnings that have been given by the military to the people have not stopped, and on Monday, there was a turnout of millions of people in order to join the protest. The demand the generals free the detailed elected leaders and restore democracy. The most important demand that has been framed by all the protesters is that they are saying that the general should actually let the elected leader, that is Aung San Suu Kyi, free, and military should actually help in restoring the democratic process in the country. Myanmar's military has been one of the most consistent enemies of democracy. See, you can yourself judge that since its independence, over 50 years have been under military rule. So we can definitely say that the Myanmar's military is the consistent enemy of democracy. In the past, challenges to its power were met with brutal crackdowns. Still, the Janta has continued to face popular resistance. Now, military has performed many inhuman activities there in order to stop all the protests. However, this time they are not able to stop the people, and the entire population is in such a situation that they want to join resistance and they want to restore democracy in the country. The crackdown on the protest of August 8, 1988 did not prevent the Saffron Revolution of 2007 led by the Buddhist monks. Then Shwe, the then leader of the country, suppressed them but had to offer a new constitution in 2008 as a compromise. Now, the approach of the people, the will of the people of Myanmar, we have already seen in the past that a protest got started. Saffron Revolution got started in 2007, and under the pressure of this protest, under the pressure of this revolution, the leader at that point of time, Shwe, had to offer a new constitution in 2008 to the entire country. So one thing that can be said very surely about the people of Myanmar is that now they have decided that only thing that they want is democracy. This constitution was the basis of the partial transition to democracy in 2015 when the NLD came to power. But even that experiment would not last more than 5 years, thanks to the power-hungry generals of Tatmadaw. Now, one thing which is quite clear, that even though it was decided that democracy should be the way of ruling the country, but the military generals in Myanmar, they are absolutely power-hungry. So an elected government after such a long time could last or could complete only 5 years. And then again, we saw that the newly elected government, it was absolutely being cracked down by the Myanmar's military. But they were wrong to expect the Myanmar people, who experienced at least limited liberties and democracy for 5 years after decades of repressive dictatorship, to allow them to consolidate power easily. However, the military generals of Myanmar, they actually underestimated the people of Myanmar. Now, when during those 5 years, when they got some rights, when they had democracy, they actually realized what is the importance. And that's the reason the army is finding it so difficult to suppress this entire movement that has actually started. The way forward, the protesters have called for civil disobedience, stoppage of work, sit-in and mass demonstrations. The strike has already paralyzed the banking system at a time when the economy hit hard by COVID-19 is struggling to stand on its feet. Now, the various ways through which people have actually decided to show their dissatisfaction is by following civil disobedience, stopping works, mass demonstrations, etc. And due to these things, most affected sector right now in Myanmar is the banking sector. Now, we all know that under the situation of COVID pandemic, all the economies of the world have taken a deep dip. And under such a circumstances, if such civil disobedience is being shown by the people, then the banking system of Myanmar will absolutely crash in a couple of days, which will create a tremendous amount of problem for the military generals. The military is also facing international sanctions and condemnation. Like I said, United States of America has directly warned the military that be ready for the sanctions if you are not trying to impose democracy once again in the country. There is no easy way out for General Min Aung Hlaing, the commander-in-chief and the coup's main architect, from the crisis he has himself put in. The generals should realize that years of repression have not killed Myanmar's aspiration for democracy. They should not repeat 1988 or 2007. They should stand down, respect the election results, release the leaders and hand power back to the elected government. Now we all know that the people of Myanmar, who actually tasted democracy after a very long time in 2015, they have realized the importance of democracy, and it is not going to be easy for the Myanmar's military to actually suppress the ambitions of the people. So they should not repeat situation of what we have seen in 2007 or 1988. The military should step down from administration and respect the election results. They should release all the leaders who have been detained and should hand back power to the elected government and make sure that democracy prevails in the country. So viewers, this was today's editorial analysis. A question that can be framed with reference to today's analysis is: discuss India's policies towards its neighbors. And I'm talking about the foreign policy here. So viewers, I hope you liked today's editorial analysis. Thank you very much.